Exactly 100 days ago, I set up my first ever bowl aquarium. The goal was to create an almost self-sustaining ecosystem, so I didn't use a filter or a heater, I only used a light. More than 3 months have passed since I set it up, and today we're going to see if it has indeed become an ecosystem or was it a massive failure. So fish bowls are very controversial in the aquarium hobby. Many people do not like them. Even ChatGPT thinks they're not suitable. And the main argument for that is usually the lack of space. So if I wanted to do a bowl aquarium, it had to be a big one. Luckily my local garden center didn't disappoint because they had a massive fish bowl. To give you an idea about the size, that's 55 inches. So I brought it home and the first thing I did was a leak test. The glass of this bowl was not particularly thick, and maybe this wasn't even meant to be filled with water. Maybe it was just meant as decoration or something. So I placed it outside, filled it up with water and left it like that. After 24 hours and some nice Dutch weather, the bowl was still completely filled. So now I felt confident to set this thing up. So I brought it inside and got to work. First job was to add a foam leveling mat to the bottom of the bowl, and this is just for extra safety and to make sure that there will be no pressure points on the glass itself. After that I added the light, which I temporarily clamped to the rim of the bowl. I definitely wouldn't recommend this, I just didn't have any other option at the time. Next up we're adding in the substrate, and for that I used crushed lava rock on the bottom and AQUASOIL on top. Onto the hardscape, which I kept really simple with just 2 pieces of spiderwood and 3 lava rocks. I did glue all this together to make sure nothing would float up. After that it was time to add in the plants, and I used a lot of them. I started with about 10 different varieties, later on I added even more. With the planting done, I moved the bowl to its final location and filled it up with water. The next day the water was a little bit cloudy, so I did a 30% water change and I also added in some floating plants. Now I probably should have been doing more water changes, especially in the first few weeks, but this was in July and I was away from home quite a bit during that month. When I came back, things were not looking great. After 3 weeks the bowl was covered in brown algae and some of the plants had started melting as well. A week later I was rescaping one of my larger tanks, which had a ton of cherry shrimp in it. So I caught them all and moved them to the bowl. And these little guys did a great job cleaning up the mess that I made. Eight weeks after I first set up the bowl, it was finally in a state where I was proud to show it off. All the plants looked healthy and there wasn't any algae anymore. I also decided to add some fish. These are sparkling gouramis and they only grow to about 1.5 inch. And I think in a bowl of this size that's quite acceptable. So that was the state of the bowl aquarium after 50 days. Now let's see how it looks after another 50 days. It has now been exactly 100 days since I've set up this bowl, and I hope you guys will agree with me when I say that it is looking pretty good right now. Must say that I did have some doubts in the very beginning if this was going to work, especially when I had that brown algae outbreak. But after that was over, it has been nothing but enjoyment and it just keeps getting better and better. I can't remember exactly, but somewhere between day 50 and day 100 I have done one trimming session and I basically trimmed all the stem plants. They've now grown back and formed this lush and colorful backdrop. It just looks really good. Now why is this super low-tech bowl looking so good? I mean, right now it even looks better than some of my high-tech setups. I think a lot of it has to do with the way it was set up, especially the substrate. So I made quite a thick substrate layer and I used the crushed lava rock and the AQUASOIL. So right now it's full of nutrients and it's also full of beneficial bacteria. And all those things together are now basically the filtration for this bowl. So inside the substrate there's a lot of beneficial bacteria, and any waste, any like dead plant leaves or fish waste or uneaten fish food is all broken down by those beneficial bacteria and converted into nutrients for the plants. Now I do also add a little bit of liquid fertilizer in here just because we have such a large plant mass and also quite a powerful light. Speaking about the light, this is the Aqua Illumination Prime Freshwater. It's quite a high-end light, quite expensive as well, but I mean, we're saving money by not using a filter, so we can spend a little bit more money on the light as well, right? I'm running the light on 60% intensity, and it's on for 8 hours per day from 1 p.m. till 9 p.m. Now I do have one confession to make, because in the beginning of this video I mentioned that I'm only using a light and no filter and no heater. But I am using a little bit of CO2 as well. So over here next to the bowl I have this citric acid and baking soda CO2 system, CO2 reactor, whatever you want to call it. This one is actually a little bit broken because, as you can see right now, it's not connected to power, so there shouldn't be any CO2 coming out. But there is still one bubble coming out of the bubble counter every 30 seconds or so, so it's very little. But yeah, still adding a little bit of CO2 to the bowl. Somewhere in the plant mass there is a CO2 diffuser as well. But yeah, just a little bit of CO2 is of course making a difference as well. I think there's one more thing that is making a difference in this bowl, and that is the water quality. So where I live, the tap water is quite hard, and in general most plants will grow better in soft water. So because of that, I've recently upgraded to a better RO system, and right now this bowl is running on pure RO water. Well, not pure, I am adding some minerals because pure RO water is also not good. But yeah, basically the water in here is very soft. Because of that, plants are doing well, and I think that's making a big difference. Basically everything that I've just mentioned is all focused towards trying to grow healthy plants. The substrate, the light, a little bit of CO2 and the soft water. And I mean, if you have so many healthy plants, there's just not really much that can go wrong. Now you probably also noticed that we do have a few more fish in here right now. So I started with the cherry shrimp and the sparkling gouramis. Right now we also have a small group of the mosquito rasboras. There's one pea puffer in here as well. And we also have 2 rice fish. I think that's it. Oh no, we also have some otocinclus. Yeah, quite a variety of fish in here right now. I'll make sure to leave a full plant list in the video description as well if you're interested in that. I think right now we have like 15 to 20 different varieties of them, so it's quite a long list. Yeah guys, I think that's it for now. If you enjoyed this one, then don't forget to smash the like button. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.